Okay, what's going on, LBHT crew B? What is going on?
Way too much this week, apparently.
Way too much. Way too much. Look, man. Harbaugh protectors, rejoice, rejoice! You guys did it. You saved your boy. He's gonna be here a little bit longer. It seems like. It
Yeah.
seems like we don't have the details yet. And as he's referred to on the Engraver channel, Hood Harbaugh makes an appearance today, apparently. So yeah, we're gonna get into that. We had the NFL playoffs, the conference championships. So we're actually gonna start the show with that because that's those are the guys that are still playing. We are going to get into a little NBA talk today. James Harden. Oh, my Nets, my Brooklyn Nets. Is James Harden going to leave us? Let's talk about that. And Sean Payton says he's stepping away, not retiring. He's stepping away. What does that mean? We got so much to discuss, and let's pull up the chat here. Oh, I'm not even ready. Let me get my people ready here. Before I start pulling up the chat though, if you're new here, make sure you hit that like button and also subscribe. All right, we do this show every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. We got Couch Rider Raven in the house. Says LBHT. What's going on?
What's going on, Couch?
We got Just Allo says, "What's up, everyone? I hope everyone is well." Fire Greg Roman. Well, I don't know.
Everyone except for Greg, huh, Jess?
Attitude Pop is here. What's up, Attitude Pop? We got Ravens Online Ungatekeepers. I love that name. LBHT crew, yes. Our man D Weezy, Derek Weatherly is in the house. Says ready to kick it with the LBHT crew. Let's go, fam. Let's go. Yes. I'm gonna put this on the screen here real quick. All right. If you don't know how we do it, all right. That link right there. That's how you can do a highlighted comment. We don't do super chats. We have a highlighted comment. You can go to that link. It's pinned at the top of the chat box. Also, right below B, $ LBHT Show. That's our Cash App. Those are two ways you can make a donation, leave a comment, and you'll get a nice little graphic on the screen. We'll read your comment on air. Tony Hendel's in the house. What's good, Tony? Thanks for coming through. Dresky. That's Andre Mears. What's up, Andre Mears? You changed your name a little bit. Says, what's up, LBHT? All right, Felipe Moreno's in the house. Y'all got a lot to talk about. Y'all are ready. Matt Williams is in the house. Deshaun is in the house. Yes.
Deshaun?
We got the LBHT crew. We got the founding members. Everybody's up in here, man. Emphasis. I see you, Emphasis. He says, disgusting. No extension should be on the table until Greg gets the boot. All right. I know. You guys are here. You want your red meat. All right. We're going to get into that. But look, man, there's still some NFL football going on. We're going to discuss that. We're going to get that. We're going to get into that first. All right. Then we'll get into the dirty stuff. All right. But first, we have a Black History fact, and B is going to read that Black History fact for you.
Yeah. So just a real quick one today. Just want to acknowledge a woman who passed away a little over a week ago on January 18th, Lucia Harris, who was a great basketball player. In the mid and late 70s. She went to Delta State University, won 3 straight collegiate championships. It wasn't the NCAA yet, but it was 3 straight collegiate championships. Won 3 straight MVP awards, and actually went on and played for the national team. Won a silver medal, and then won a gold medal in, I believe it was the Pan America Games. But the other thing that makes Lucia special is that she was the first and only woman ever drafted into the NBA. She was drafted in 1977 by the Utah Jazz in round 7, pick 137 overall. She never actually played in the NBA, obviously. She didn't go to the tryout. She said, she was actually pregnant at the time and just kind of, skipped that and then ended up playing professional basketball, women's professional basketball for a few years after that. But again, she passed away recently. There is going to be a documentary coming out about her pretty soon, produced by Shaquille O'Neal, who wanted to kind of get her story out there because she was a kind of a similar player to him, a power center, as he said. And he just said that not a lot of people know about her and just wanted to get that story out. So be on the lookout for that, I believe, later this year.
All right. I actually didn't know that. I didn't know. So there was an actual women's player that got drafted in the NBA. You know, back then, NFL, NBA, MLB, they would draft people all the time that didn't necessarily. You didn't have to declare for the draft, from what I understood. Right, like they would just draft you.
Everybody was eligible.
Yeah, everybody's eligible. They draft you and they hold your rights if you decide to play that sport. So, all right, okay. So I see you, Danity. She says yes, Black Queen. Derek Wesley says the OG here with the crew. # founders. Yes. Jake P is in the house. What's up, Jake?
What's going on, Jake?
Raven Ron says hope Bengals get destroyed on Sunday. Down with Burrow.
Wow.
Look, I just want another exciting game. I want another exciting game. Look, as a Ravens fan, no, I don't. You know, it would hurt me to see the Bengals in the Super Bowl, but I mean, I gotta appreciate the talent. They got talent on that team.
But the alternative is the Chiefs.
Yeah. All right.
And do you want to see them keep rolling?
Listen, that was my pick, and honestly, man, if Lamar ain't gonna win, I want Mahomes to get as many Super Bowls as he can. Outside of Lamar, all right, like he is the man. He is the best quarterback in the league. I think when it's all said and done, he'll be the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. And since he started, he's been in every conference championship game, right?
Right.
He's been all he knows is AFC conference championships.
Yeah, it's their fourth straight.
And the one time he didn't make it was when who was it that jumped off sides? I couldn't believe it. He didn't even jump off sides. He was
Ford.
It was D Ford, but it was so messed up what they did. The Patriots offensive lineman was lined up behind the line
more than a yard behind the ball, which is illegal. They don't ever actually call that.
And D Ford lined up in front of him. They called him off sides. It was a BS call. That's the only reason he hasn't been to 5 straight AFC championship games. That's amazing.
Well, no. That was the AFC Championship game.
Was it?
Yeah, that's the reason he hasn't been to 3 straight Super Bowls already.
Oh, yeah. You're right. He's been to 2 straight Super Bowls. This year will make 3 if they make it. You're right. Yeah. Okay. So since he's played, he's been in the AFC Championship game. But Super Bowls. That's the only reason he hasn't been to 3 straight Super Bowls on possibly 4 straight Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Man, look. That's something else, and that's what I envision for Lamar Jackson, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I want to see happen. And look, we're gonna get into that. But let's focus on the Chiefs and the Bengals since we're already talking about them. B, you think the Bengals will have a chance?
No, I think they get crushed this weekend. I think that they're kind of like a baby version of the Chiefs, and they don't have the O-line. Their quarterback isn't as good. Their weapons aren't as good. I mean, they're very good, but they're not as good. The defense isn't as good. And you saw this past week, Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times. And, apparently you can do that against Tennessee and get away with it. You're not going to be able to do that against Kansas City. Kansas City's not going to leave that stadium with 16 points on the board. So I expect the Chiefs to win that one going away.
Look, the Bengals are tough, and they beat the Chiefs just a few weeks ago. And, it wasn't one of those things where the Chiefs just didn't show up to the game. Like, they were trying to get the number 1 seed. So I think, obviously, playoff football is different. The Chiefs are different in the playoffs. So that will show, and they'll pull away. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it'll be close for a little bit, and then Kansas City will pull away towards the end, but it won't be like the first round when they played the Steelers. Sorry, Suge. The Bengals have too much talent for it. I think I said it on the highlight show in the chat. Shout out to Ferris and Caleb. And I forget who. I think Dagan was hosting that show. Yeah. I put the Chiefs 35. Bengals 21, something like that. So I'm gonna go with that.
You say they have too much talent to get blown out like that. I'm gonna say they have too much Eli Apple to keep it close.
Oh,
so I'm going Kansas City 45, Cincinnati 20.
Some might say they had too much Mike Hughes to keep it close or to blow it out.
Well, Gabriel Davis ain't walking through that door, is
he? No, worse. You got Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase has never had 4 touchdowns in a playoff game, I don't believe. So I don't know what we're talking about here.
There isn't much at this point he hasn't done. Couch Rider wants to know, is it wrong to root for Burrow and Chase? I'm an LSU fan. Man, root for them. That's fine.
No, man, they're extremely likable. They're fun to watch. You know, they're very, very talented. Yeah, root for who you want. Baltimore's out.
Listen. This is 2022, right? This isn't the 1980s, 1990s where, you know, fans were a little bit more meat-headed, and it's just like, I'm a fan of my team and I hate everybody else, and I would never even mention a player on another team. No, I mean, you can appreciate the sport, right? Like, yes, there are division rivals, right? It's gonna feel a little, you know, you'll feel a little mad that they got a Super Bowl or they went to Super Bowl before your guy did or whatever. But, you know, you can appreciate talent, man. Like, yeah. Burrow's amazing. Jamar Chase is amazing, and I don't forget about T. Higgins. All right. I mean, they're stacked. So, I mean, I just want an entertaining game at the end of the day. We got our man Eric L. says, greetings, my brothers. I hope all is most excellent. What's up, Eric L? Appreciate you coming through. Andre Mears says, Chiefs win in another high-scoring game, 38-28. Okay. All right. Jonathan Washington says, 34-24 Chiefs. Bengals will hang around early, but I think the better team pulls away. Okay. And we got Giovanni Long. Thank you for joining the live stream. It says, shaking my head, not happy G-Ro is not getting fired. We're gonna get into that, Giovanni. We're gonna get into that. Don't you worry about that. Brandon Buck says, would you rather have Hill or Chase? Ooh. That is an excellent question.
That is. Tyreek Hill is he's just different, right? There's nobody that moves the way he does. But I think if we're going for their entire careers, I'm going to take Jamar Chase.
Man, yeah, I think so. I think Jamar Chase is going to be. I mean, he's already showing he's a generational talent, but so is Tyreek Hill. And to see what he did in that game, man, that's a damn good question. That is a hard question to answer because Tyreek only needs just a little space to change everything. But then again, that's kind of how it is with Jamar Chase too.
Yeah.
I think I would go with Chase long term, but right now, man, Tyreek Hill. Yeah. I can flip back and forth. I don't want to spend too much time. I'll go with Chase. I'll just leave it at that because if I keep thinking about it, I'll flip back to Tyreek Hill. What's up, Darren? Darren says, "What up, boys? Harbaugh in setting up his preservation station. Yes. Hashtag self-preservation. He wins again."
That's right.
Z the B says that O-line is Swiss cheese. Okay. Yeah. And he says D4 wasn't even offsides. He was offsides, but
just barely.
Barely.
Yeah, they that was entrapment is what that was.
JP says we got to discuss AB tonight. Okay, so we're gonna keep it going because we have a lot of stuff to discuss. To get to. And shout out to Yolanda B. I see you in the chat, Yolanda. Thank you for coming through. And Tanja's here. Tanja says, "Hey, Jose and Brodny, I caught you guys. You caught us. You caught us."
Red-handed.
All right. And Andre Mir says Tyreek Hill slightly. And JP says Tyreek Hill better than Chase, respectfully. Okay.
Yeah. Right now for sure. I think I would take Tyreek, but if we're talking about for the full career, I'll take Chase.
Yeah. And Hendo says 42-28 Chiefs. Okay. All right. Next game. Rams, 49ers. I hope this is an entertaining game.
I think it's going to be very entertaining. I think it's going to be very entertaining when you get two quarterbacks who don't want to and don't know how to win. That always ends up in entertainment.
Listen, we make fun of Matt Stafford, but he is a talented quarterback, right? I think I would even say he's a good quarterback. He's just overrated. That's all I think. Jimmy Garoppolo is not a good quarterback.
No, he's not. But
right.
one of them has been to the Super Bowl.
One of them has been.
It's not the man who got his first playoff win.
This is not Jimmy G's first rodeo. That is insane. You know what the record is without Jimmy G, which is crazy. Like it was like 3-7 this year or something like that. 3-6.
It's the weirdest thing because he's got an amazing record as a starter. They can't win without him, and he is not good at his job.
And he will ultimately do what you think he will do and just crush your hopes and dreams because you cannot win a Super Bowl with him. He can get you there, but he will not get you that ring. And that'd be the most hilarious thing if it was a rematch with the 49ers and the Chiefs, and this time the Chiefs just run them off the field.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
So you're picking the 49ers?
Oh yeah, I told you, I put a bet down on this during Lunch Money Bets last week.
Oh,
I put the bet on the 49ers and the Chiefs as the Super Bowl matchup.
Okay, all right. What's your score?
I think it's very close. I'm gonna say it's gonna be 27-24 San Francisco.
Okay, Jake P says 27-10 49ers. Wow, 10 points for the Rams.
I mean, I'm not rising to that level of disrespect.
Yeah.
I mean, Cooper and Odell and Cam Akers, and they'll put a few points on the board.
Yeah, I mean, look, okay. Z2B says 49ers on the Rams, though. All right, look, it's playoff time, man. Okay, it's playoff time. I understand we all take the shots at Matt Stafford, but he
Patford.
Listen. He made it this far. He somehow found a way to overcome his choking ways last week because they almost gave that game away. But he's here. He's here.
Mm-hmm.
He's an upgrade over Jared Goff.
Yep.
And they've made it to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. I think they get to the Super Bowl. They're going to fall short again, I believe. But, I mean, man, they're too stacked for me to pick against them, man. Like, the 49ers have some talent, too. You got Deebo Samuel, and you got Brandon Ayuk, right?
And George Kittle.
Yeah.
That O-line and that defense.
Yeah, Trent Williams, man. I would like to have him right now. But, in the defense. But the Rams, man, I mean, you got the best wide receiver in the game right now. You got Odell. You got Cam Akers, right? And then on the other side, you got the best defensive player in the world, and Aaron Donald. They brought in Von Miller. They got the best cornerback in the league. So I mean, they're
allegedly. I saw him get burned by Mike Evans last week.
Mike Evans ain't no joke though. That's what talent will get you on wide receiver. By the way,
whose fault was that?
Yeah,
who was supposed to have Mike Evans?
I'm going Rams. I'm going to say the opposite. I'm going to say 27-10 Rams. How about that? Yeah. Raven Ron says 24-21 49ers, man. A lot of people picking 49ers. Emphasis says 21-13 49ers. Matt throws a pick six.
Man, I'm not liking that.
He says Matt throws a pick six to steal the Niners win. Wow. Let's see. Derek Wesley says I put my thoughts of how I'm close to locking up the plus money in the NFC Championship. I am in the Discord. Yes, we do a segment called Lunch Money Bets with Derek. He comes on here, and he'll give you your picks. But also, if you're a member of our Patreon, you can join our Discord, and he has his own channel called Lunch Money Bets, and he puts a lot of good info in there. So if you got $3 in your pocket, hit up patreon.com/LBHT Show, and you can get all the information to our Discord. All right. Mr. Jada6 says, what's good, fellas? Handshake emoji. That's what I'm talking about. Handshake to you, sir. What were you going to say, B?
Moving on to the other big news for this week. Longtime Saints head coach Sean Payton is stepping away.
Yes.
Not retiring. He said, he doesn't like the word, and he still sees himself having something to do with football, which means coaching the Cowboys, but just not this year. He's stepping away. He's going to take some time. And, a lot of people are talking about the Saints and how they're 70-something million over the cap, and maybe that's why, and, they don't have the same talent as they did before. Drew Brees is gone. Now Sean Payton's gone, and it's a mess and everything. I don't think that has anything to do with it, really. I think that, he hasn't wanted to be in New Orleans for a while now. He wants to be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, and he's probably regretting listening to Bill Parcells all those years ago. But the real question for me here is, how does this affect the Carolina Panthers?
Well, why do you think he regrets listening to Bill Parcells? I mean, he had a lot of success, obviously, with the Saints. And I think he set his own legacy, right? Like he is the legend in New Orleans. Like, if he went to Dallas, he'd be just another guy that, even if he won a Super Bowl, he'd just be another guy that won a Super Bowl.
I'll tell you why I think he regrets it, because he is not finished coaching, but he's finished coaching in New Orleans.
Listen.
So he wants out, and he wants, there was a story out there that he was almost traded to Dallas, essentially traded, not an official trade,
right?
But a few years ago. And then what happened was Anthony Davis left the Pelicans, and then New Orleans said, "No, we're not doing this now. We can't let Davis and Sean Payton go because they're owned by the same family."
That's right.
But they said it was all worked out. He was going to be let go by New Orleans, and Dallas was all set to hire him as their head coach. And at the last moment, it got nixed because Anthony Davis came out and said, "Trade me. I'm not signing here."
Well, and that's a good heads up by ownership, right? Who is it? The McCombs? Is it the McCombs family? Is it Red McCombs?
No, the Bensons.
The Bensons. That's right.
Yeah.
McCombs owns the Vikings, right? I think he owns the Vikings.
No, McCombs. Well, I mean, he used to, but not now.
Yeah. And what's up, Coach? Coach Evans from Sip to Tally Films is in the house.
Coach?
What's good, LBHT? What's good with you, Coach? Coach is breaking down all the prospects, okay, in this upcoming draft, and you need to go and check out this. All right, I'm gonna put I'm gonna put him on the screen here. Sip to Tally Films. Make sure you go over there and subscribe to him because he's excellent with his breakdowns. And I've already put in my plea for him to break down Drake London. Coach, I watched a few game tapes of him, not highlight tape, just game tapes, and I think he plays like a Raven. Okay, I want him here in Baltimore. All right, that's the pick right there. That's the pick for me. Okay, yes. How does it affect the Panthers though?
So the short answer is it doesn't, because the Panthers are a dumpster fire.
Yes.
But it really does open up the division, right? Mm-hmm. There's talk of Tom Brady stepping away as well. Well, not stepping away, retiring as well, which would mean that there is not a single decent team in that division, depending on who the Saints eventually hires their head coach. I think maybe they just end up promoting their defense coordinator, Dennis Allen, but they still have to find a quarterback. They're still, I think they're going to just voluntarily go into a rebuild, to get all that money off the cap, get back under the cap and just kind of start over. So it puts Carolina in a position where, if they really do put in the work on the O-line this offseason and they go out and they find a veteran quarterback, a stopgap quarterback,
okay,
they could win that division.
Yeah. So look, listen. Like you said, it's wide open.
It's not going to happen. But
listen. Next year, like you said, they're a dumpster fire. After next year, they could be back. It can happen just like that. We don't know Brady's coming back for another year. Not right. It looks like he's leaning towards retirement. Doesn't matter. The year after, I think he's definitely out. Right. Mm-hmm. So, yes, what that means is Carolina has time to purge what they have here. On the quarterback situation, the coaching situation, and get themselves right to get back in competition for that division. It is going to be wide open for when you guys are ready for it to be. But also, it's the same thing for New Orleans, because a lot of people are looking at the cap situation and saying, "Oh, well, that's why he left." And in fact, shout out to Couch Rider Raven. He says it in here. He said basically he's just getting away from that bad situation. I don't see the comment here, but he's just saying, look, bad situation, no QB, no cap, so he bailed out. The first part is why he bailed out, because if Drew Brees was still here, they have a competitive team. They're only one game away from making the playoffs with Taysom Hill.
The cap situation is not what scared him away. Like they were further over the cap last offseason, right? And Drew Brees was gone. But this team lost their starting quarterback early in the year in Jameis Winston. Otherwise, they were a playoff team this year.
Yes. Yeah.
Jameis going down. I mean, they had a lot of injuries, but Jameis going down is the only reason they didn't make the playoffs this year.
Well, yeah. I agree with that. And a Deep Mahmood says, I don't think Sean Payton is interested in a rebuild. He should get an opportunity somewhere like the Cardinals job where Kingsbury gets inevitably fired. That's a good point.
Inevitably fired for the playoff coach.
but blew it, he blew it. And if he says I'm interested in that job, he gets the job. Right? He gets the job.
Well, that's true of about 25 situations in the league.
Yeah.
If Sean Payton says, I want that job, it's time to fire your coach.
What's up, Nitro? Nitro is ready. He says, I'm at work listening. Please, this is all caps. Please flame the Baltimore Harbaughs. They deserve your wrath. We're going to get to them. We're going listen. It's the calm before the storm. It's the calm before the storm, right? We're discussing. We want our fans, right? There's a lot of Ravens fans. There's a growing number of Panthers fans up in here, but we want you guys to be well-rounded, okay? We're discussing what's going on around the league, but we are definitely going to talk about the Fighting Harbaughs here pretty soon, okay? That's what it is, Fighting Harbaughs, boy. Okay, yes, the Saints, their cap situation, it looks like it's bad. Sarah Ellison, tweeted out today, the cap is cap, right? Which I responded, this whole thing you're saying is cap. The cap is not going to keep them from competing if they want to compete. But this is the time to just let these contracts, just let people go and let things play out because you don't have your quarterback. Yep. But if they decide, hey, maybe we can get Russell Wilson, maybe we can get Aaron Rodgers, right? Just throwing names out there. Maybe we can get.
Well, I believe they were on Russell's list, weren't they? If I remember.
Okay, so
correctly.
if he's on the list, watch how fast that number just goes away. This ain't the first time they've been over the cap.
Yeah, they were $100 million over the cap last offseason. They didn't lose any of their key players. They got under the cap, and they were a playoff caliber team minus the injuries. Now, again, with Drew Brees being gone, you don't know what the long-term plan is at quarterbacks. I don't think that they're really interested in Jameis being their long-term answer. And now Sean Payton walking away. Yeah, now is the time to just go ahead and purge your roster, essentially, because who cares?
Yeah.
If they really wanted to, they could work around this cap number, but there's no point.
Yes.
There's no point in doing it because you're not contending for a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just purge the roster, get out from under all that, and start over fresh. Trade some of those guys, get some draft picks if you can, and kind of kickstart your rebuild. But, yeah, make no mistake. If they were still competing, if Drew Brees was still there, or if they had another quarterback and Sean Payton was sticking around, they would absolutely work their way around that cap number and compete again next year.
No doubt. All right. Man, what else is going on in NFL? I don't know, man. Anything else going on in the news? I don't know. Oh, there it is. Harbaugh's extension. It's not official yet, so we don't know the details, but everybody's reporting that he's going to get an extension here worked out in the next couple of days. Mm-hmm. And it's looking like Greg Roman is probably going to stay. That's what people were saying. Mm-hmm. Though that's, they seem a little less confident about that, but they're saying it's looking like he's going to stay. But we don't hear anything about extension for him either, because I think he might be in his last year of his deal as well. So, all right, what does this mean for the Ravens? You go ahead first, B, because I have a few thoughts. You and I are on the same page with this. But before you go, let me just read a couple of comments here, just a couple, because man, this chat is blowing up. It is blowing up. They're like, yo, just get to the Ravens. All right. Let me read Mr. J the 6 comment here about the Panthers. He says Panthers need to focus on Neal, Cross, Green, Lindenbaum, or Ekwonu in the first round.
Absolutely.
Same thing with the Ravens. Kingbird 97 says, guys, I don't think Greg Roman leaving. Let's not think Super Bowl because John Harbaugh doesn't care about his quarterback. Now he has, I think he meant now that he has his extension. Yeah. All right, you go ahead, B, because I have a few things to say.
So my thoughts on it, I tweeted out before. It's absurd that he's getting an extension. I know that teams in general and Baltimore specifically don't like to have their head coaches, coach on the last year of their deal. But if you were not interested in giving him an extension before, then he shouldn't be getting an extension now, right? You don't extend him just because just so that he's not there on 1 year deal. If that's the case, fire him, move on, get somebody else in there, right?
Yeah.
Because we can say that it doesn't matter, it's whatever, the contracts don't matter, and he'll get fired after this year if they have a bad year, and that part might be true, but as we're going to be discussing here in a moment, he's going to have input into who the offensive and defensive coordinators are.
Yeah.
He's going to have input into what you do in free agency. He's going to have input into what you do, what players you take in the draft, and all that is going to outlive his tenure in Baltimore. So if you're not confident in him as the head coach, you're not confident enough to give him that extension on the merits of what he's doing, then don't give it to him. And either make him coach out that last year or just fire him altogether and get a new coach in there who you believe in. And speaking of belief, with the news of Greg Roman saying, my thoughts on that is that they don't believe that Lamar can pass. Yes. They don't believe that he can lead that team with his arm. They're saying, hey, we've got this offensive coordinator who we know cannot put together a pass game. We know that.
Yeah.
Nobody can argue otherwise. They went out and they got 2 other coaches to help him implement a pass game because he can't do it himself.
Yes.
And you've got your franchise quarterback, and you're saying this is the guy for him. So what that's saying is, hey, we need this guy who's going to be creative in the run game and get Lamar to use his legs and win us games that way. Because if we get rid of him and we bring in somebody else who's more pass focused or more pass oriented, Lamar's not going to be able to handle it.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail right on the head, man. I agree. Like, and my thing is, yes, they're all saying we don't believe in him as a passer. And if you don't believe him as a passer, you don't believe in him as a quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. That's the crazy thing. But they also recognize that he's the one that's keeping us employed here, right? So if we just keep just riding this gravy train, we just keep, just limiting his passing and have him run and have him be our leading rusher every year, he will do enough to get us wins because he can go off script when we need him to pull out these wins. And all we have to do is just be above average, right? And really, that's what this signals. It signals more so than what Harbaugh and Roman think of him. What the front office thinks of Harbaugh and this franchise. What they're telling you is they're okay with being second tier. They're okay with being a second tier team. We know who the top tier teams are, right? We just watched them this last weekend, right? Mm-hmm. You're talking about the Chiefs. You're talking about the Bills. You're talking about the Rams, right? Those are the top tier teams. We're not anywhere near that. I mean, we can appear to look like that when Lamar's on the field because he's that kind of player, but we're not that. So bringing back Harbaugh, that's one thing, right? You've had success with Harbaugh. You won a Super Bowl with Harbaugh. And like I thought, like I said before, if he got rid of his coordinators and said, hey, especially Greg Roman, and says, hey, I got to switch it up, maybe you feel a little bit better about it and say, okay, he's learning. But that ain't the case, right? He made a sacrifice to save his job, hashtag self-preservation, right? And turn around and hire just another one of his friends that was already working here before, right? And nothing's going to change. They're going to run the same defense most likely, and we'll talk about him in a minute. But yeah, I mean, basically they're saying we're okay with being above average. The people that defend them, the Harbaugh protectors out there, will say, yeah, we're okay with being above average. That's exactly what you're saying. Hopefully we get a shot at winning the Super Bowl. Maybe we get lucky. That's what you're talking about. You're not really talking about competing with Kansas City. I know you're not talking about that. You're talking about maybe we get lucky. Maybe we catch them sleeping one year and we can win it all. But actually competing with this team with Greg Roman here, no. And not adding enough talent. Like if we added the talent, if we said, hey, we are going to go get AB, we are going to spend top resources on building this O-line, right? Maybe we draft another wide receiver. Then I could say there's too much talent for us to not compete, even with Greg Roman calling the plays. But we're not even talking about that. So what you're saying is you're okay with being second tier.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I mean when I say most teams in professional sports are not trying to win. The Ravens are, I mean, forget this past season with the injuries, right? The 3 years prior to that, they were a great regular season team and an embarrassment in the playoffs, and they've done nothing to rectify that.
Yeah.
Except, say, Greg Roman's coming back, John Harbaugh's getting an extension, and the only person who actually did his job in that stretch, Wink Martindale, is out.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. I mean, they're not saying, hey, you know what? We've got what we want to be is a smash mouth run team. Run the ball, play defense, and that's how we're going to win our games, right?
Yeah.
They were the best defense in the league over that 3-year stretch. Yeah. They were the best run team in the history of the NFL. And they got to the playoffs and they saw it doesn't work like that.
Right.
And they said, you know what? Let's be a smash mouth run team and play great defense, and that's how we're going to win. They're not trying to advance. They're not trying to get better. They're looking at what the other teams are doing. They saw Kansas City, and I'm sure everybody here saw the tweet. They saw Kansas City go out there and score with 13 seconds left, right? They saw Gabriel Davis go out there with 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. They saw that back and forth fireworks show. Mm-hmm. And what did Baltimore do the very next day or right after that game? They tweeted out, "We've got 2,000-yard receivers."
What a joke! What a joke!
You have 2 guys who went over 1,000 yards. You don't have anything that looks like what we saw on the field last week.
No, not at all. Not at all. What Kansas City did, they put up 42 points against the number one defense, but also number one pass defense in the league. I think they were averaging like 182 yards a game or something like that. Something ridiculous. Like that defense doesn't give up passing yards. We give up all the passing yards.
Mahomes had 177 passing yards after the 2-minute warning of that game.
Listen, man. But we sitting here talking about smash mouth football. Oh, hold on. We got a donation here. Shout out to Anonymous. Says, should Mr. Jackson leave Baltimore soon? You know what? We're going to talk about that too. We have a lot of Ravens talk to talk about. We're going to get to that. But I'm going to answer your question. He hasn't signed his extension, and I don't think he should. I think he needs to hold out. If you're going to bring back Roman, okay, cool. Because Harbaugh is one thing. He might like Harbaugh, and he might be cool with Harbaugh staying. We know he doesn't like Roman, right? He said enough about the playbook, about the offense, for you to get the point that he's not really feeling what Greg Roman is doing. We know Hollywood doesn't like it. We know other players have come out and said it. We know David Culley has said that he's holding Lamar Jackson back, right? Like, we all know that the team ain't feeling it. So if you're being that stubborn, again, this is ego. This is Harbaugh's ego getting in the way. You can't tell me what to do. I'm going to hire my friends, and I'm going to keep my friends. Oh, you're making me fire my one friend? I'm going to hire another friend, right? That's ego getting in his way. Okay, well then, what I can control is I don't have to sign any contract with you. So, I don't care. I'll get paid. If I'm Lamar, yeah, I'll get paid. Don't worry. We'll just play out this year then. We'll see how it goes, right? If you still want me to be the lead rusher for the 5th straight year, maybe we're gonna have some problems next offseason signing me. You might have to tag me. Okay, I'll play on the tag, and I still won't sign, right? Like, that's the leverage that he has. So absolutely do not sign a contract. If that's what you're gonna do not sign a contract. I don't want to see Lamar play anywhere else. But if this is how they're gonna treat him, he's going down the path of Cam Newton, of Donovan McNabb, and any other top black quarterback that didn't get the support for his team. I'd rather see him just leave instead of go down that road. So it is what it is.
I agree. Like, don't sign the contract until go and talk to EDC and tell him, look, I want somebody besides Greg Roman. I want an O-line, and I want better wide receivers. Yeah. And once you make that happen, then the contract is signed. And if that doesn't happen, then, like you said, I'll be playing on the franchise tag. Yeah. I'll be playing on the 5th-year tender, then on the franchise tag, and then we'll see what's what after that. But this is the point where, Lamar has the ability to take his future in his hands. Yeah. If you go ahead and just sign that contract, Baltimore's going to do whatever they want to do. And there's not really a whole lot you can say about it. Yeah, you can ask to be traded, but they can comply with that or not. If you don't sign, they're absolutely listening to what you have to say.
Right.
And trying to make that happen.
Absolutely. All right. So here's what we're going to do, because we still have to talk about the defensive coordinator that they're seemingly about to hire. We got to talk about AB wanting to come to Baltimore and play with Lamar. We still have a Harden story to talk about, but we still got lunch money bets coming up. D Weezy is waiting. But before that, I just want to read a few comments, and then we'll bring on D Weezy. We'll do lunch money bets, and then we still have some more topics to get to, man. I know you guys are gonna rant, so I'm gonna let you guys rant. Agent E says, "What's up, fellas? What's up with you, Agent E?"
What's up?
Let's see. I'm just gonna pick out a few here. Kimberly Harmon, what's up, Kimberly? I see you in the chat. Thanks for coming through. She says, "I thought Greg Roman was leaving the Ravens. He ain't leaving. I would love for him to do the honorable thing and just say, you know what? I'll step it down." Man, Wells Call of Duty channel says nepotism at its finest. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I'm not sure if it's EDC or if it's Steve Bisciotti that's letting them get away with this, but I mean, like you fire Wink, we're thinking, okay, the pressure's on him. Maybe he's getting it, and next thing you know, he gets a contract. He's like, I'm just playing. I'm gonna go hire my brother's guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't make me feel comfortable. You shouldn't feel comfortable either. Just Alice says, honestly, Brodny, I think the Ravens are cheap and stupid. I literally think they don't get it. They are cheap. Yeah. I don't think they're stupid. I think they look at a formula and say, we'll win more times than we don't. Every now and then we might get lucky and win a Super Bowl. But we don't have to do any more than that. But this might come back to bite them this year because people hate Greg Roman now. And they see what he's doing to Lamar Jackson. Stats are going he's only gotten worse every year since the MVP year. It's gotten worse, and you keep making excuses, right? Everybody keeps making excuses, but excuses only last for so long. Everybody has obstacles that they have to get over, right, or get around. But when you're losing, you have to make excuses. Winners don't make excuses. And people get tired of hearing the excuses. Zaul Martinez says, Hola. What's up, everybody? What's up with you, Zaul? Thanks for coming through. Zeta B says, Marquise should have had 1,400 yards with all his drops. Even if he caught the passes, I mean, he would have been closer. But, his yards per catch weren't that great. Yeah. He got a lot of targets. Let's see. King Bird says, EDC and Harbaugh and owners smell a little racism to me. That's facts. I don't know if it's racism. I don't know if it's. I don't think that. I mean, they wouldn't have drafted him if it's that. But there is some biasness when it comes to black quarterbacks, right? Darren says, "Man, this convo is not making me feel good about this organization. Literally feels like being a Dolphins fan or something." Well, look, we still have Lamar. We still have this offseason. And the news isn't official yet with all these guys. So we still have to wait and see about that. But no, you should not feel good. And we're not here to make you feel good, right? We're going to tell you what we see and, our thoughts on it. We don't like to sugarcoat things, right? If we all know Greg Roman is not good at his job, right? Some people might argue it, but he's not good. He's at the very least, he's very limited at his job. Yeah. We know that. Okay. So if he stays, expect the same offense. I don't know why we think, oh, well, with a better O-line and now that we have Keith Williams and T. Martin, the passing game is going to take off. Why would you think that if he's still calling the plays? He doesn't know how to call plays.
Yeah. Well, look, it's one of those situations where you're going to be looking for the players to kind of brute force it. Right. Yes. You're saying, hey, Hollywood's a pretty decent player. We all hope Rashad Bateman turns out to be the number one receiver there. Hopefully they bring in another starting caliber wide receiver this offseason. And if you fix the O-line and Lamar has time to throw and some pretty talented players there, then the passing offense will be all right. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But it's not Greg Roman's doing.
Yeah. Danny says, preach, Jose. They are not building this team to win a championship, only to win enough. That's facts. And shout out to Mikey from Off the Record Podcast. Says, yo, I looked at the clock like I'm late. What's good, fellas? What's good with you? And we should have mentioned this at the top of the show. Our guy Mikey, we do a podcast with him. If you are not subscribed, go over to Ring Kings Podcast. Go over there right now. Go hit the subscribe button. I'll give you a second. You go hit the subscribe button. All right. Help us get to 50 subscribers real quick. Then help us get to 100. Okay, those are quick goals. Quick goals. If you're into boxing or if you just love hearing our voice, go over to Ring Kings Podcast. Okay, we got 2 episodes up. We're getting ready to record our 3rd one. Lots of fun, man. Lots of fun. Just Allo says the Ravens are a bad organization now because they don't recognize how great Lamar is as a passer. He says it too. Racism is a part of this viewpoint as well. Again, I won't say it's racism, right? Like look, I don't think they're flat out racist. I think there is a racial element for sure. For sure.
There's different levels to it, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't think that they hate black people, but that's what implicit bias is, right?
Yes,
you look at a black quarterback and you think he's less.
Yes. So I mean, he's essentially saying the same thing, right? We're using different words, but yes, that's what he means, and I don't disagree with you. Rocking with Shady, thank you for coming through to the live stream. Says EDC just worried about draft picks. He's not worried about actually winning Super Bowls. Can't be. Hey man, these are the conversations we need to have. You got to hold your team accountable, right? We're not trying to be all negative. We're not trying to be salty, but when they're not doing the right things, you can't give them kudos for it. You can't sit there and say, oh, everything's going to be okay. And then when it's not okay, you make excuses. Hold your team accountable.
And I think we can close out on this for right now. Daniel Jeremiah said, he was quoted, the regular season is about your floor and the postseason is about your ceiling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the difference in Baltimore. They're a great regular season team and they're a bad postseason team right now. And that's what you get by collecting comp picks and fourth round picks and everything like that and just hoarding them. You're loading up on mediocre players.
Yeah.
ESPN put out their list of top 50 free agents. Baltimore has a long list of guys who are free agents this year. One of them is on that list, and he was number 31, and that's Bradley Bozeman.
Yeah.
Everybody else, nowhere to be found. They have a roster. Yeah, they're a very deep roster, which is why they can withstand the number of injuries they had, early on in the season and still be 8-3 along with with Lamar playing. But this is what I said. What I meant when I said that most of those injuries didn't matter.
But that's why I laugh.
None of those guys are difference-making players.
That's why I laugh when people say, "Oh, look how many injuries he had." Maybe 4 of them matter. Yeah. Maybe the rest of them, who cares? They're easily replaceable. You can literally grab anybody off the street and replace those guys, right? Yeah. Imam Marshall didn't play for us. What do you care if he's hurt? You know what I'm saying? Like that's not something like. But you count him. You know what I'm saying? Like Geno Stone, you didn't care. We just got him. He wasn't an impactful player, right? Like most of these guys are running backs. Oh, now you care about Justice Hill, right? Like you want him off the team last year. Now you care that he's hurt. Like, that's not impactful player. I would even go as far as to say J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards aren't that impactful, right? No, and I know. Look, I'm not saying I don't like them. I like them, but we don't use our running backs. Our lead rusher every single year is Lamar. He gets the bulk of the carries. We're using him to lead our rushing attack.
And again, you're talking about running backs in a passing league. Yeah, they just don't matter that much.
All right, we got another donation here from Anonymous. Appreciate you. Says Ravens give Mr. Jackson his flowers now. Yes. Give him his flowers. Get him a coordinator. Get him protection and get him weapons. Stop saying we have enough. It ain't enough. You watch these playoff games and tell me with a straight face that we have enough. I want to hear about patience and all that stuff, man. Damn that. Josh Allen came in the same year as Lamar Jackson. They ain't sitting there saying, "Oh, let's be patient with them." They're saying, "Get him help now."
Joe Burrow came in after.
They
were the number 1 pick, and 2 years later, they're in the AFC Championship game.
Guys, this ain't 1998, though, right? This ain't 1998 where it's just like, oh, we gotta let them develop. Man, you got some talent. You better get some talent around them and help them win right now. Nobody else is waiting for you, right? I thought after the 2019 season, it was going to be, man, the sky's the limit for us, right? They're just going to keep adding talent and we'll get better. But everybody else surpassed us. Yeah. Everybody. Like, we were last in the AFC North, y'all. Don't tell me injuries is going to make up the difference. Like, everybody come back healthy is going to make up the difference. We need a lot more help than that. All right. Oh, and E says, "Sup, fellas, you already know." Yes. Thanks for coming through, E. Okay. You got a lot of comments in there. We're going to pick up this conversation. But first, we got to do we got to take care of our gambling degenerates in here. Okay. There's a growing number of you gambling degenerates showing up to our show, man. You need these picks. You have to have these picks. And D Weezy is here to give you these picks. D Weezy, what is going on, my friend?
What's up, Derek?
What's going on, fellas?
Thanks for coming through, man. How are we doing? How are we doing? Are we making some money?
Well, this past week ended up going 500. Very Carolinian of me.
Okay. Okay.
Now, something that you didn't mention. Brodny's becoming one of those degenerates of the LBHT crew.
You're only a degenerate if you lose. And listen,
Exactly.
I'm serious. Stop stepping on my San Francisco pick. This needs to come through. Okay. I don't like everybody jumping on that.
Well, then you might actually like the way I'm going, because I'm on the Rams in that game. I'm taking the -3.5. They're the favorites going in that. Now, like I mentioned in the Discord, I'm looking at potentially trying to lock up some plus money both ways. And those that have been in the Discord a while, if you've tracked a little bit what I've done, I locked up plus money on both sides with the World Series. I locked up plus money both sides in the NBA championship last year. The NFC championship coming up, more or less, I had a futures play on the Rams. They're still alive going into this game. More or less, like I said in Discord, if the line moves the right way, a couple points might be enough to where, regardless who wins, I look at the potential of a plus night. And that's always a good thing. That's why I tell people it's about finding good angles. It's about finding ways to work the book against itself. And when you can start to find those ways, you start to eliminate the possible chances of losing and limit the number of probabilities of things that can happen. And when you can do that, it can simplify things. You ain't got to be no great sports expert. You ain't got to be the greatest football mind, know the game inside and out. It doesn't take that. You just, more or less develop an eye, play the things stick to things you understand. You can find ways to exploit the book, and even if you lose, you're looking at the potential of more versus less.
Yeah. All right.
So going into this week, like I said, I'll be on the Rams -3.5. But going into, those live games I've mentioned a number of times where live lines, you can see some wild movement in game. And like something I just mentioned, trying to lock up money, plus money on both sides. At that point, it's not a question of if you win, it's a question of how much do you win.
Okay.
So, going on to the next game, Bengals and the Chiefs, we do have a bit of a larger spread. Right now, it's sitting at a touchdown, -7. I'm going with the Chiefs in this one. I think it could be a bit of a shootout. The question is, can the Bengals hold up that end of the shootout? Like y'all said, 9 sacks. 9
sacks. Can they do anything to fix that in a week?
And this week, it's Chris Jones coming to town.
Yeah, and Melvin Ingram. And Frank Clark playing? Yeah, that's gonna be.
I don't think it matters. Yeah. But so going in, I'm gonna be on the Chiefs. I wouldn't be surprised if the game total taking the over there might be the way to go on that. And something I was looking at before the show coming into this, we got free agency rolling up for a lot of teams. Well, Aaron Rodgers might be a free agent, and out there at some books you can find odds on more or less what's referred to kind of as a if bet, more if Rodgers plays on another team next season. Now, if he doesn't and goes back to the Packers, at most books, basically it's a refunded play and just canceled out. So it's not, it's not like if he stays with the Packers, you lose.
Right.
But some of the odds there now, unfortunately, Raven fans, y'all might not like this too much because one team in y'all's division already has their quarterback position pretty much locked up for the future. That's obvious. In the top 5 of those odds, you can find the Browns at +1,000, and you can find the Steelers with the second shortest odds at +450. That may not be a good sign. These of course, markets like this are, always exotic and typically way out there. but it's not. It shows you where potentially the free agency market might lead that way, and like a team like Baltimore, like y'all said, if they can't bring stuff in, you could see a top-notch quarterback come into the division this year through free agency. You know, you might kind of consider me sort of, a Southern Lex Luthor because I said Russell Wilson was going to be, potentially available come this off season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been on a couple things where people, that's crazy, and then we get to the present and right here. So yeah.
So there we got
Go ahead.
we got something from Raven Ron here. Degenerate Ron makes his appearance. He says Degenerate Ron parlay Kansas City Cincinnati over 54.5. And any Hornets game, take the over. Their defense is on strike.
I agree completely with
What
that.
say you?
I agree completely with that. Yes. You have heard me say things like trends. I may not know the exact figures off the top of my head, but just about any Hornets game total is an overplay. The number will be high, I promise you. Would be one of the highest totals of the night, regardless of how many teams are playing. It's tough, I know. I look at them sometimes. You see that 232, 234, 239. Yeah, you take the overs.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. That is D Weezy from Lunch Money Bets. Look, he's got a lot more. He's got a lot more to give to you. Look, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. If you're looking for something to get your loved one, you need to make some extra money. D Weezy can help you, okay? Especially in the NBA. He got these hot takes for you, okay? All you need to do is sign up to our Patreon, patreon.com/LBHT Show. Sign up for the Discord. And he's got his own channel right in there, Lunch Money Bets. You just pick his brain all day. He'll give you those hot takes. He's going to make you some money, all right? And if you want to see him talk more about the Lunch Money Bets, you want to see his articles that he has on our website, you can go to lbhtshow.com. They're up there right now. Check out this man's work. He knows what he's talking about. And he likes to hang out with us in the Overtime Show. And we will see you very soon, my brother. Thank you for coming through.
All right, everybody take care out there.
All right, D Weezy. All right. Listen, this is we usually get into the bonus time, but we have a couple more topics to get to. But first, like I mentioned before, patreon.com/LBHT Show. That's one of the ways that helps us grow as a channel, as a podcast. We got so much in store for you guys. The people that have signed up so far, we really appreciate it. We got 2 tiers that we want to tell you about. The $3 tier and the $10 tier, which will be appearing again very soon. B, can you tell them about those tiers real quick?
Yeah, so the $3 tier, both tiers will get you entrance into the Overtime Show, which is the show that we do following our live show every Wednesday. All the patrons are in there. We talk about anything and everything. It's a lot of fun. The $3 tier will get you into our yearly Pick'em League. This year, OTR Mike won that. We got the trophy just came in recently, so we got to get that delivered to him. But congratulations to Mike. The $10 tier will get you entrance into our yearly fantasy football league. It's being converted into a dynasty league this year. We give away a customized championship belt for that every season. Deshaun took that home this year, unfortunately. So congrats to Deshaun as well. The $10 tier will also get you the ability to request specific content. If you want videos or articles on any topic, we'll go ahead and produce that for you. And like I said, both tiers will get you entrance into the Discord channel. And starting early February, that $10 tier will get you the second edition of the LBHT coin, the LBHT crew coin.
Yes, and I'm gonna show you the original one. You can't get it anymore, but I'm gonna show it to you so you can see the kind of quality we put in these coins. Look at the thickness on that. Look at that. Okay, that is a founding members coin. Okay, those are no more. But we had the second edition, like B said. It's going to be dope. You're going to want one of those. All right. So make sure you sign up. And we got our man, Andrew Sakira. Andrew Sakira is a founding member. Okay. Yes. He is a founding member. Shout out to you. All right. And he says, buy her a LBHT hoodie from the store. Talking about for Valentine's Day. And appreciate you, man. He's been supporting us from the jump, man. Thank you for coming through. Tony Hendo, another founding member, says, get your loved one access to the Discord for Valentine's Day. Perfect gift. And it's only $3. It's only $3. Okay. All right. Also, the link right below us, That's to our merch store, lbhtshow.com/shop. Look, you like what B's wearing, you like what I'm wearing. You want to get yourself something to keep your liquids cool, right? You want a nice mug. We got this and a whole lot more on the store. So go and check it out. See if there's something that you like in there. All right. Okay. Let's get back to it because we have a lot to cover. You guys have a lot of comments in here. We're not going to be able to read everything, but if you have to get your take off, if you're looking for that super chat, we don't quite do super chat, but we have other ways that you can get a highlighted comment. Okay, one is Cash App right below B, $ LBHT Show. That's our Cash App right there. And that pinned comment at the top of the chat, that'll take you to our Streamlabs. You can make a donation, leave a comment, and it will pop up right on screen.
Yeah, and I think I put the wrong name in here. I think I put the 49ers coach name, Mike McDaniel. Go ahead and change that right quick.
What is it? It's what is it?
McDonald.
McDonald. Yes.
My bad.
All right, I'm gonna read a couple of comments while you do that. Black Daniels. Speaking of McDaniel, Black Daniels is here. He says, "LBHT, what's good, fam? What's up with you, Black Daniels? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate y'all, man." Jonathan Washington Jr. says it was too predictable. Harbaugh would just bring in his buddy to replace Wink, and they had interviews with outside candidates just to say they did. Yeah, already knew what they were going to do. Listen, not only that, Anthony Weaver, in-house candidate, that if you're gonna hire in-house, it should have been him. He was used as a pawn, and if I were him, I would quit straight up. Like you're going through this process, you're making me think I have a chance just to turn around and hire this guy from college that already didn't get the job. He interviewed. He was on the Ravens before. It came down to him and Wink. They chose Wink. He went to Michigan to coach with Jim Harbaugh, right, as a defensive coordinator. He did a good job. And you go back and bring him. Like, why'd you even go through this whole process? Just bring him in. So
yeah, because that they knew all along that they wanted him. Weaver completed his interview, I believe it was yesterday, and right after that, the talk was, hey, they're going to wrap up this search in about a week, and kind of pick their new defensive coordinator. And then immediately following that, it was Mike McDonald's the guy. If he hasn't accepted it already, he will very soon. And so it's like, why? I know that the league wants to have that appearance that they're really giving coaches of color a chance to move up. Mm-hmm. I do feel for those guys who had to be those kind of, I don't want to say token interviews, but
that's what they
who get those interviews just because, right? But to do that to your own coach, I mean, I can't imagine that they told him beforehand, hey, you're not getting the job, but just come in and do the interview, get some practice or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's a guy who has been looked at as a future defensive coordinator for a few years.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he thought, hey, man, this is a great opportunity. I've been here. I know this team. I know this roster. I know these coaches. We all work well together. This is my shot.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a real interview.
No, I will quit. I would quit. He could get another job somewhere else. I wouldn't, even if it's just a lateral move, I wouldn't stay with the Ravens after what they did, man. That's just, I mean, that's shady. Like you said, if you're gonna go in house, go with the person that's been here the whole time, right? Who is he? He's a D-line coach, right? The D-line was fine this year, right? Mm-hmm. That was they weren't the ones giving up all the yards. Now, okay, Mike McDonald. Could he turn out to be a good coordinator? He could, right? Yeah, sure. He could. I mean, because Wink wasn't that bad. Wink's problem was he was just too stubborn, blitz too much. And
and nepotism doesn't mean that you're bad at your job.
No,
like Kyle Shanahan got into the NFL because of nepotism. He's good at what he does, mm-hmm. but he didn't earn his way there. Mike McDonald's the same way.
Yeah.
Like, he got this job because he knows the Harbaughs.
Yes,
and they like him.
I would say probably 100%, close to 100% of the jobs you get in the NFL, at coaching level, is nepotism, right? Mm-hmm. You have to know somebody. You can't just submit a resume and they're like, all right, we'll check you out. You have to know somebody. Yeah. So, but I mean, just the way this is all playing out, it doesn't sit well. It shouldn't sit well with you, right? You get rid of Wink Martindale because, hey man, he's blitzing too much. He's not changing. We all know he's not doing it because he feels comfortable, and he knows he's comfortable because he's your friend, right? Because you take care of your friends. You don't want to get rid of your friends. That's why Greg Roman's still here. But then, shocker, you get rid of Wink. Now we're all thinking, well, maybe Roman's out too, right? But then, Harbaugh got the extension. It's all good. And as soon as that news comes that he gets his extension, it's looking like Greg Roman's staying. Harbaugh, they went from interviewing all these coaches to, Harbaugh's going to hire, he's going to hire his friend that was on his brother's staff in Michigan. He's going to come back to NFL and come back on the team and take over Wink's job. Nothing changes. Yeah. Nothing changes. So, I mean, maybe he does a better job. Maybe Roman does a slightly better job, but you shouldn't expect it, right? Like, right. They shown you who they were. Believe it, right?
The other, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I mean the other thing about the way this played out, right? A lot of people are saying again the Harbaugh extension doesn't really mean anything. It's just so he's not a lame duck coach. They can still fire him. Blah blah blah. Doesn't mean anything, except the optics of what you do matter, right? And the timing of it matters. So you're watching these teams in the playoffs. You see these unbelievable, unstoppable offenses with these elite quarterbacks leading them, throw into these wide receiver talents that Baltimore's never had. And immediately following that, again, you're tweeting about your tight end and wide receiver who went over 1,000 yards. You're giving John Harbaugh the extension. You're saying Greg Roman's coming back. The message that you're sending is we like the way we're doing it. We're not changing the way we're doing it.
Yeah.
And, it could be, completely coincidental. But again, as the organization, you have to be thinking about how this is going to look. Because as of right now, what I'm thinking about the Ravens offseason, based off of them, retaining Greg Roman and extending John Harbaugh, is, maybe they do go defensive 14. Maybe they do go out and get another over-the-hill veteran at right tackle and don't actually fix the O-line. And they're just going to come back and say, hey, 9-10 wins and a first-round exit in the playoffs is good enough.
Well, Adi is making your point right here. He says, looks like Michigan pass rusher David Ojabu, who was Adafe's former high school teammate at pick 14, talks will pick up, or Michigan free safety Dax Hill, brother of Justice, is another popular option at 14. See, and again, that's another issue I have with this, right? You're prioritizing defense, not you, Adi, but like this organization is prioritizing defense over offense. There's a glaring need on that O-line, right? Mm-hmm. And unless they put in the work to, make trades and get people in free agency to really show up the O-line before they even get to the draft, even then I'll still say draft a wide receiver, right? That's just where I'm at with it. But to say, okay, we just want to make defense a priority, again, tells me you don't have any faith in Lamar, right? And you don't really care. Like, you should know. These aren't dumb people. They should know defense isn't going to running a hard running game and a defensive game is not going to get you a Super Bowl win, right? It's just not. They know that. And if they're still focusing on that, if that's still the priority, if that's still their philosophy, then again, they're okay with being second tier. They're like, we're good with that. As long as the bottom doesn't fall out, we're okay with just being just solid, and maybe 1 year we get lucky. And I ain't with that. Andrew Sakira says the Ravens in all aspects of the organization, team, etc., are as transparent and predictable as ever. It is getting to be stale and boring as hell. I guess apathy and mediocrity are in style. It seems that way, man. Again, man, like it seems like we're all doom and gloom out here, but we are not going to sugarcoat anything, man. Like, we're not going to tell you bad news is good news. There's plenty of accounts out there. There are plenty of other places you can go and get that talk. You're not going to get that here. And if you feel good about this, man, I don't know what to tell you. Shout out to Ferris, man. Ferris says, Deuce Staley with the Eagles when they hired Doug Peterson. Yeah. He says, I feel sorry for Deuce. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. But look, if it's that scenario, Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl, to be fair, G-Star 007 says the definition of insanity. Yep, doing the same thing. Nitro says exactly using people to cover up nepotism the Ravens way. Yes. He said, please, LBH team, flame them. Oh, man, I had so many other thoughts about this because, like, there are a lot of people out there that they're happy about this. They're overjoyed that Harbaugh's coming back, that G-Ro's coming back. We debated a few people out there, about Greg Roman, what he offers here. Even Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh's a good coach. Let me get that straight. I think he's good. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's that special. I think what you have is somebody who took over a team that was already ready to win. Harbaugh didn't take them over the top, right? What happened was, whatever happened with Brian Billick and Steve Bisciotti, because Brian Billick was supposed to come back. Last minute, he said, "No, I'm firing him," and they wanted to get Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett said, "No, thanks." And we ended up with a special teams coach, and he came in and took a team that was already ready to go, a defense that's already ready to go. And we just happened to get Flacco, who wasn't Kyle Bowler. You know what I'm saying? And then Ozzie said, let's add Anquan Bolden. Let's draft Torrey Smith. Let's get Ray Rice. Let's get Matt Burke, show up this O-line. Let's get the left tackle, I forget his name. Bryant McKinney. Like let's shore all this up right now and make a run. Because Ray Lewis don't have much time left. Ed Reed don't have much time left. We're trying to win now. But Harbaugh didn't build any of that. All he had to do was not mess it up, right?
Yeah, it's like the Miami Hurricanes with Larry Coker, right?
Yeah.
Butch Davis built that team, and then Butch Davis said, "Man, maybe we're not going to get over the hill or get over the hump. Let me grab this NFL money." Larry Coker steps in, and they literally told him, "Yo, go sit in your office. We got this." And they went undefeated, and they're the greatest team in the history of college football.
And I'm not saying he's Larry Coker, right? I'm not saying it was that bad, but to make it seem like he turned his team around, he didn't turn anything around. We were already Super Bowl champions. We were already competitive. We just needed a different coach that could look at things differently, and a quarterback that wouldn't give the other team points, like Ray Lewis once told Kyle Bowler. Just don't give them points, right? And he did that, and we did a lot of winning early on. We got to the Super Bowl, and when those guys retired, it was a struggle. It was a struggle. We didn't do nearly as much winning after that. And again, I see Sarah Ellison. I'm not taking, shout out to Sarah Ellison. Hold on. Let me read this comment real quick from Anonymous. It says, would Mr. Jackson win a ring with Bills or Bengals? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the Bengals, eventually, their O-line is awful. Their defense isn't great. But yes, he would win in Cincinnati. He would have already won in Buffalo. Yeah.
But Sarah Ellison kind of blamed the struggles on Cap a little bit, saying, hey, we paid Flacco a lot of money. And look, that's not her original take. Like, everybody says that. Oh, after we won a Super Bowl, we paid Flacco all this money, and that's why we couldn't sign anybody. That is nonsense. That is pure nonsense. That you paid one player, and all of a sudden you can't sign anybody anymore. You can't sign anybody. You can't draft anybody. It's just this one guy is just sucking all the lifeblood from your organization. That is nonsense. So how do other teams with top quarterbacks keep it going?
Well, that's it, right? Top quarterbacks. They paid a guy who wasn't a top quarterback, and that's fine. He's a good quarterback. He's a playoff quarterback, right? But what you don't have in Baltimore is a coach who would elevate that type of a player.
Yeah.
You have a guy in John Harbaugh who gets the team up for the big games and lets them play down to the level of competition every other week. You don't ever really see players in Baltimore exceeding their ability, right?
Right.
That's a thing that you used to see in Baltimore. Particularly on the defensive side. Guys would look great in Baltimore and they would leave, and then be like, hey, what happened to this guy? And it's going in reverse now, right? We saw Zadarius Smith, who hadn't played since, I think, week 1, came in there and got a sack on like the second or third play of the game against San Francisco. and he's getting ready to hit free agency, by the way. But I think that you have a coaching staff who is just kind of, they're guiding the team along. They're not really, elevating the team. They're not making the best use of the talent on the team. John Harbaugh has just well documented issues with younger players and putting them in the doghouse whenever they make a mistake.
Yeah.
That happened to Zadarius Smith. And just not making the best use. I mean, I know that nobody's going to argue with me on that because everybody loves James Prochet and thinks he's a great receiver. Well, he don't get on the field. He don't get the targets. Right? Whose fault is that?
Right.
That's your coach. He looks at James Prochet and he says, "Hey, not much there." Right. Yeah. They did that with Tyson Williams this year. He had a great first game, and then they said, "But you fumbled, so sit on that bench over there for the entire rest of the season." Right. And it's like you said earlier, you have a good coach in Harbaugh, but not a special coach.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't have the talent, he's just not going to get it done. They have to have an overwhelming amount of talent in Baltimore, and they just don't.
And that was the main point I was trying to make with that is, people say, oh, well, we could have ended up with Jason Garrett. What if we end up with Jason Garrett? Then Jason Garrett, we talked about the same way Harbaugh's talked about now. That's what would have happened. If we would have gotten Jason Garrett instead of John Harbaugh, Jason Garrett would be a Super Bowl champion, and we'd be saying, man, what are we going to do if we let go of Jason Garrett?
Yeah,
that's what would have happened.
Up with Harbaugh.
Yeah.
They won the Super Bowl in 2012, and they've won 2 playoff games since then. Stop trying to convince me how great of a coach he is right now. Right. He won a long time ago, and that's great, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah,
the game passes coaches by. That's a thing that happens, right? Before Lamar Jackson, they missed the playoffs 4 out of 5 years. They were on their way to missing the playoffs again in Lamar's rookie year when when his self-preservation kicked in. He said, "Man, we better play this rookie."
Yeah,
and Lamar's been winning ever since. Why are we giving Harbaugh credit for that?
Yeah,
Harbaugh was a loser for those years leading up to Lamar Jackson. And then Lamar gets on the field, and they're one of the winningest teams in the league. Whose fault is that? And
we still have to wait and see the details of everything, right? We have to see the details because if he's just getting like a 2-year extension, then we know what it is, right? Like he's still on the hot seat, and all these guys could be out. It could be one of those things where they say, "Look, man, we're essentially giving you 1 more year, but on paper, we don't want you to be a lame duck." So for just for appearances, we're gonna give you a 2-year extension. And I think they did that for him that year. They talked about firing him, I believe, right? I don't think it was a long extension. We'll give you a 2-year extension, hell, maybe even 3, right? We'll let you handle the coaching staff how you want to, but it has to be this year. That could still be in play, and maybe Harbaugh just feels like, I do believe in Greg Roman, and I brought in these guys to help him with the passing part of it, and I do believe we can win it. And like I said, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out my way. That could be one of those things. And maybe he wanted to keep Wink, but Wink is very stubborn. Maybe it was one of those things they had a conversation, and Wink was just like, "Look, man, I'm not changing up, right? I'm not, or like the report was that he didn't want to be on a 1-year deal, and he's just like, well, that's the way it's gonna be. I'll just go somewhere else, right? He wasn't down to play their game. So I mean, look, there's a lot of things that could be in play here. So we gotta wait and see the details before we can really.
And listen, and that's all fine, right? But God forbid that you giving Harbaugh a meaningless extension ends up with you drafting an edge rusher or a safety or Sauce Gardner, and Drake London ends up in Pittsburgh, or Jameson Williams ends up with the Chargers,
or Cleveland,
or Cleveland. Well, but I mean, or one of those O linemen ends up in Cincinnati, and you've got to be going against those guys year in and year out.
Look, let me tell you something, man. It would be tragic. It would be tragic if the Cleveland Browns just said, "Hey, you know what? Let's give Baker a couple more weapons, right? We're iffy on him. We're gonna let this year play out, but we're gonna give him a couple more weapons. Okay, Odell didn't work out. We'll give him somebody else, right? We'll give him a little bit more help on the O line. We're gonna give him some more. We're gonna give him more. and Baker Mayfield goes out there and outperforms Lamar Jackson just purely because they gave him more to work with. That would be tragic. Yeah. All right. Let me read a few of these comments, and then we want to get to the next topic. We still got AB to talk about. We got Harden to talk about. We're going to do a quick bonus time. Quick bonus time, because we're already bonus time right now, technically. Right, and then we're going to go to the overtime show. If you're new here, you don't know what the overtime show is. First of all, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. That's the first thing you need to do. Go ahead, do it now. Do it now. Hit subscribe. All right. Overtime show is what we do every Wednesday night after the main show. And if you want to be a part of that, sign up right below me, patreon.com/LBHT Show. All right. For as little as $3 a month, you can get access to it. And we talk about anything and everything on that show. We'll talk more of this. We'll talk movies. We'll talk TV, whatever you feel like talking about. It's a lot of fun. All right. Jalen Murphy says Harbaugh running this coaching staff as a social club. Yep. Andrew says if Lamar gets fed up and leaves, I'm done too. Hey man, I feel you. That's a strong opinion. I'm not gonna go anywhere, but I will. I mean, you want to talk about? You think I'm bad now with the criticism of this team? Let Lamar leave. They'll find out. You'll think I hate this team. You'll think. Raven Ron says, how did that Georgia game go for future DC McDonald? Oh, well, look, college is college, you know. Doesn't mean he's going to be a bad defensive coordinator, but like I said,
certainly doesn't mean he's going to be a good one.
Yeah, the hiring process makes me doesn't make me feel confident about it. I'll put it that way. John Hazeb Ali says EDC is not serious or care to take this team to another level. I feel you, John Hazeb. I feel you, bro. Zeta B says Dax Hill at 14. No way. Look, I mean, I don't know if ID is campaigning for it. I think he's just kind of throwing out there, like, you know, that could be a possibility. Hey, Odafe Owe at whatever pick we took him, was that? I mean, who saw that coming, right?
Right.
Black Daniel says the O-line has to come first. Defense can get those fourth round picks. Exactly. Mm-hmm. There's 5 fourth round picks. If you need to add something on defense, get it there, right? We have issues on the offensive line, glaring issues. You're absolutely right. I don't want to see a defensive pick until the 4th round. Zeta B says he wants Lindenberg or Jamison Williams. I want both. I told B, and when we do our mock draft, you'll see how we can do it. I want Lindenbaum, and I want to trade back up and get Jamison Williams. We have the capital to do both. Maybe it's not Jamison Williams. Maybe it is Drake London. Maybe it's another wide receiver. But we can get more. All right. Let's see. Let me scroll down here, read a couple more comments. Mikey from Off the Record Podcast says, with the Bengals getting better, if the Ravens aren't careful, that championship window will close on them this offseason is critical. Listen, I think the window is closed. They have to open it back up. These teams are already, they've passed us. The Bengals are past us. They are a better team. Don't get it twisted. It's not one of those things where, oh, well, if we were healthy, we could have beaten them. No. They're just a better team, and they're going to get better this offseason. What happens when they go and invest in the O-line better than we do for Lamar Jackson this offseason? Then what are we going to say?
Right.
Hold on. Let me read a few more. Just Alice says, by the way, Greg Roman isn't that great at the run game either. Oh, that's what I've been saying. I don't think he's a good run game coordinator. He relies on running quarterbacks, on super athletic quarterbacks to make it work. I don't think there's much of anything that's good about Greg Roman, to be honest. And we got another anonymous tip. Shout out to you. It says, do EDC and Bishotti really believe in Mr. Jackson? That's a great question.
And the answer to it is no.
Yep.
Right now,
based
off of the evidence, and I've been, talking with Jose about this for a couple of years. Like, watch what they do in the off season. If they are not doing everything they can and building their off seasons around Lamar Jackson, it's because they don't believe in him, and it's going to be a Cam Newton situation in Baltimore.
Tough Puppy is in the house. He says, am I late? Tough Puppy, whenever you show up, you are right on time, my friend. All right, there are a lot more comments. Look, I can't get through all of these, but what we're going to do, we're going to get through the story. We'll do a quick bonus time show, or a quick bonus time, and then we'll probably continue this conversation in the overtime show. So look, man, $3, right? If you got enough for a king size candy bar, all right, you can sign up Sign up and continue this conversation in the Overtime Show. We talk about anything and everything. You can go ahead and just post your comments in there. We'll give our takes. Ferris will give his take. D Weezy will be in there. Suge might be in there. It's a lot of fun. And we have, it's a lot more laid back, and we can talk about this stuff some more. Just a couple more. I'm going to recognize a couple of people that are in here. Keenan Ricketts is in here. Shout out to you. He says, Harbaugh limbo sucks. All we need is a good OC and EDC to start investing serious money in protecting Lamar and more weapons. EDC and Harbs watch the Chiefs and Bills game and are still complacent. Well said. Mm-hmm. Well said. And Yoel says, didn't Brian Billick had an extension, then got let go the next year? Yes. I'm not sure if he had an extension or they said they're going to work on an extension. I remember them saying he was coming back. And then after we lost to the winless Dolphins in the very last week of the season to give them their only win of the season, that's when he got fired. So, I mean, things can change on a drop of a dime, man. Like they can change. So just because he's getting this extension now doesn't mean he won't be out at the end of the season. That's all I'm saying. Okay. All right. What do you want to do? AB? You want to do Harden?
We got Harden looking at free agency. Apparently he doesn't like living in Brooklyn. And I think more to the point, he doesn't like carrying Kyrie for absolutely no reason.
I agree. Oh, and Nitro, he wants to know if we're covering Barry Bonds. Maybe in the bonus time. Bring it up again in the bonus time real quick. We'll talk about it real quick. Or maybe we do it in the Overtime Show. Ooh. Yes. Yes, look, I'm a Nets fan. And if you guys are following us, you've followed us for a while, I'm a Nets fan. B's a Lakers fan. And look, I've been waiting for this moment, man, where we had this type of team that could win a title, right? I was a Nets fan when there was no reason to ever acknowledge them. So I'm excited about this time right now, but I understood when this team was put together, it's short term, right? So the talks of Harden, possibly wanting to leave in offseason. He didn't say he wanted to leave, right? There are talks saying that maybe he doesn't really like Brooklyn that much, or the city, and that he wants to explore all his options, which he should.
In free agency, yeah.
And that he has a problem with Kyrie only playing on the road, which he should have a problem. I'm good with everything he said. Like I have a problem with Kyrie only playing on the road, right? What he's doing is ridiculous. And I think but the closer they get to the playoffs, when the games start to really matter, KD's going to have a problem with it too.
Yeah. So, Kevin Durant, James Harden, they are superstar players, right? And superstars carry your team. That's the way it is in sports. And, the money and the fame and everything comes along with that. So, it's cool, right? Yeah. You get to be the leader of the team. You take the last shot. And the team wins or loses because of you. Yeah. And those role players, they step up in the moments that you need them to step up in. Shout out to Jeff Green, hitting 7 or 8 threes in a row in one game last year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's just the deal, right? But Kyrie Irving is supposed to be a superstar too.
Yes.
And so when you have Kevin Durant and James Harden playing every single night, outside of injury, but playing every single night and dragging this team along, and then you just look and Kyrie is just in a Zoom meeting, or he's tweeting about being or talking about being a voice for the voiceless. Now stop asking me questions.
Burning incense and just all this other stuff. Like it's fine in the regular season, and I think they're.
I don't even think it's fine in the regular season. I think that's not the deal, man. That is not what everybody signed up for.
So I think before Harden got there, KD, that's his friend. They came in together. And I think they understood. Man, whatever. Do what you want in the regular season. Just make sure postseason you're good. I think Harden was good with it last year when he got here. Up until the playoffs. Up
until the playoffs came and he was playing hurt. Thing that you wouldn't before that you wouldn't think that James Harden would do, right? Because he had that kind of rep. But he was out there giving it his all every night. And I mean, he wasn't playing great. He wasn't able to score like James Harden, but he was doing everything he could. He was being a facilitator. He was helping that team win, and he's looking over on the sidelines, and Kyrie's just chilling.
Yeah. So that definitely plays a factor. And the stuff that he's doing now, like again, I think Harden, which is kind of like whatever, but now KD is out for an extended period of time. And now it's just Harden out there, and he's looking at it like we're coming up on the All-Star break, right? Mm-hmm. Teams are starting to pick it up. The Lakers just beat us last night. They're starting to get healthy, right? And whatever. And I think he's looking at like
LeBron giving live lessons on court during that game.
I know Harden has talked to KD like, listen, man, like we put up with your boy for a minute now. Like, how much longer is this going to go on for? You know, but I'm gonna tell you, all this is valid. I support Harden 100%, even if he leaves, because look, KD, we got KD locked up. Okay, KD's at the end of the day, we got KD. We have a competent front office. They'll be able to surround him with more talent if Harden leaves. But I don't think Harden is going to leave. Every time an athlete voices frustration, we act like, oh, is this the end? Is it all going to blow up? He's frustrated. Right? He's like, yo, man, like, what's up with this? Right? I'm sure he probably doesn't like Brooklyn. High taxes, like the area's gentrified now. He's like, this isn't the Brooklyn I grew up thinking, it was. And it's freezing cold. Okay? He was playing in Houston the whole time. So, but all that, I think by the time we get to the playoffs, one, I think they are going to tell Kyrie, you better start showing up to these games. Right? And if he's still pulling the same tactic, then Kyrie will be the one that leaves, right? Yeah. In fact, it might even happen before the All-Star break, right? Like we haven't hit trade deadline yet. He might be gone still, but I think when it's all said and done, everybody's gonna be on the same page. We're gonna make our run. We're gonna win a championship, and Harden will be back in Brooklyn.
In what league? Oh, Eastern Conference Championship. Yeah, no.
Listen.
I know they'll get that. They'll get one of them.
Listen. Lakers, you're still playing in the NBA. You're not in the senior league yet, right? You're not in the Big Three. Okay, this is the NBA. Okay, we're talking about right now. And we got some Knicks fans in here. I see you, Ferris. He said, "Let's go Knicks." Zaul Martinez says, "Boo, boo, Knicks all day." Whatever. Brandon Buck is a Suns fan. Whatever. All right. Okay. All right.
Like who told the children to talk? The Knicks and the Suns.
Hey, respect your Western Conference champions. How about that?
No. How about no? How about they didn't beat a single team at full strength? Every team they played was severely limited by injury.
Mikey said he's missing those Houston strip clubs. Okay, all right. Let's finish this up with AB. Man, I don't know if we can do overtime. Dude, can we do this? Is gonna be part of bonus time. This is bonus time. We'll talk about AB and then put your comments in there real quick. We'll read them and we'll get up out of here. This is supposed to be an hour show, guys and gals. Okay, an hour show. We are an hour and a half into this, but we're having fun. We love you guys. We're gonna give you more. People have been telling us the last couple of weeks they want more. We're giving you more. Here it is. All right, AB plus Lamar. Could it be?
No, we couldn't. Before this past week, I would think, hey, maybe, Greg Roman's going to be gone. Maybe Harbaugh's turning over a new leaf. Maybe he realized they need to step it up on the offensive side of the ball. But no, there's no chance. Like if what they're doing is saying, hey, we believe in John Harbaugh and this is our guy, then there's no chance of Antonio Brown coming. And if what they're doing is saying, here's an extension, now you better get it done, and he's just saying, okay, well, I'm going to do it my way, then there's no AB coming. So there's no chance.
I'm going to go the other way on it. I'm giving you a hot take, guys. Hot take. All right. I think because Harbaugh is staying put, and look, part of me feels like this extension might be a little fraudulent, right? He still might be on the hot seat. And if not, Greg Roman is definitely on a hot seat. We haven't heard anything about any extension for Greg Roman. I think desperation kicks in, the self-preservation mode kicks in. They say, "Look, let's go ahead and just look. We're not gonna draft a wide receiver again in the first round. EDC probably ain't gonna do that. We're not gonna spend a whole lot of money. AB is coming at the right price. He's got the talent." He's been saying for years that he wants to play with Lamar. Lamar's been saying for years he wants him here. The rest of the team has commented on it and said, yeah, we're good with him in this locker room. I think it's a higher possibility than people think. I'll say that. It's a higher possibility than people think. We got to see what moves are made in the offseason in terms of what they do for the offense. But more talent is definitely needed. You can sit there and say Prochet and Duvernay are enough, whatever. You can say it. You don't actually believe it. They don't actually believe it. And if they monitor AB. Look, we know Lamar and Hollywood are going to work out with AB. They've been working out with AB in the offseason every year. And I think they're going to really look long and hard about it. What's 1 year? Especially if, especially for Greg Roman, I'm going to be out of here anyway if it doesn't work out. What's 1 year? It's a lot lower risk than people make it seem. They're like, oh, well, AB, we don't need all that craziness here. What craziness? What are we talking about? What happened over in Tampa? Well, Tampa, look, their coach is a hothead. He's a mess too. Okay. And we got a donation from OTR Mike. Shout out to you, Mikey. He says the best nation is donation. Hit that like button. That's what I'm talking about. You want to be awesome like Mikey? Hit that donation, right? Hit that link. Hit that Cash App. You can get a nice comment put up on the screen just like Mikey there. All right. Jonathan Washington says, Mike Thomas to Baltimore, please. And
listen, I'll say this. All that withstanding, everything you said, right? All that can be true, right?
Yeah.
Get ready for Jamison Crowder to be a Baltimore Raven.
That wouldn't surprise
me
at all.
Going.
That wouldn't surprise me. We'll finally get Juju or something like that.
No. Juju got his sights set higher.
Yeah.
The stories out there that he's looking to sign with the Chiefs. Y'all had your chance to sign him. They
but you
should
know
have
what?
signed him last year.
But what happened is they'll say no. We'll take AB.
No,
listen,
they'll take Juju over AB.
Would they?
They would. Juju got years. Juju got years left.
The Chiefs are always in win now mode, right? Like,
and Juju will absolutely help them win now. He led the league in receptions from the slot last year, right? Like he fills a nice void on that team. And AB got maybe a year, maybe two left.
Would they take Juju and AB?
Listen, they've already got AB. His name is Josh Gordon, and they waived him to put him on the practice squad.
Listen, but look, that's the team that will absolutely take AB in a heartbeat. Yeah, they don't care. They don't care at all. All they want to know is, are you available to play? Yes, then suit up. And don't talk to me about anything that happens off the field. That's their policy, and we need to adapt that. What's up, Garnett? Garnett says our locker room could barely handle Earl. They could.
They handled Earl very well. They got him up out of there.
Listen, it wasn't Earl punching Chuck Clark in the face that got him up out of there. He just didn't perform well.
Yeah,
he didn't perform well enough. I should say he was all right. He didn't perform well enough. If he was the playmaker they thought they were getting, that punch in the face, they would have said, that's just a little scuffle. They're fine now. They would have gotten over that real quick.
Again, it's the same thing with the Jets, right? When that dude punched Geno Smith in the face, they said, "Is that Geno Smith? Like, why'd you run into dude's fist?"
No, they cut that dude.
No, they cut him because it blew up. Rex Ryan went and signed him again.
Yeah, he did.
Rex Ryan didn't care.
He did.
When Steve Smith broke what was his name? Ken I can't remember now. Ken Lucas. He broke Ken Lucas's jaw. They didn't do nothing to Steve Smith.
Right.
They said, listen, you might need to run some extra laps, but you better be out there week one.
When you're performing, a lot of things can be handled, and a lot of things can be not a big deal. When you're not performing, even if you're a great locker room guy, you're a great teammate and all that stuff, you're a good guy. When you suck, nothing hurts a team more. Yeah. You guys hate Miles Boykin, right? You hate him, right? And he didn't do anything to you, right? But you treat him like he's AB. There's the worst red flag that you can possibly have is that you can't play. That cannot be fixed. AB can just calm down. He could say, you know what, I can get myself together for a season. Or he might just get here, and Harbaugh is just better at handling AB because he's not a jerk like Bruce Arians. You guys know Bruce Arians is a major jerk, right? You know that. You know as soon as as AB left, he got fined for hitting another player on the field. You saw that, right? You saw Shannon Sharp talk about that. Shannon Sharp said, if that was me, I'd have knocked him out. Talking about Bruce Arians.
Yeah, I saw that they offered AB $200,000 to pretend to be crazy.
Yeah, that's the type of organization that you're dealing with, right? They kicked him off the field because he said, "I'm hurt." Let's put it all in perspective. It's not all on AB. It's easy to scapegoat AB because of his past. I get that, but those guys are nuts, right? Yeah. Bruce Arians is a nut. You ever heard him talk? Yo, that dude is a nut. Don't get it twisted. He is definitely culpable in that. Maybe he comes to Baltimore and Harbaugh is just a lot more level-headed, right? He knows how to talk to players, and AB is just like, all good. I'll go out there and play.
He gets along better with Lamar, and his cousin is there in Hollywood.
Yes,
and it's fine.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm willing to take that chance. But no, probably not if we're being real about it. But us talking about it, that's the other thing too. Man, don't clutch your pearls when we bring up AB, right? We see, for the people on Twitter, the people that come through here and say, not gonna happen, right? Man, we're just talking, relax, calm down. If it's not gonna happen, you don't need to shout it. We don't need to shout it. We're just talking about it, all right? It's all right. But, I think
because you know what else isn't gonna happen? Sacking your way to another Super Bowl. So whatever. We all gonna be unhappy together.
Yeah. Okay. Quick bonus time. We're going to read a couple of comments, and we're going to get up out of here. And then we'll continue this in the overtime show. Black Daniel says, I'm a Wizards fan. I'll just be quiet. Well, there you go. Thank you.
That was quite a performance they put on yesterday.
Andre Mir says, I don't think he'll work with the system we have. So no, but I'm conflicted on AB at this point. Listen,
y'all ain't got no system.
We don't have any real system. You're talking about just a heavy run. He doesn't want to go out there and be a blocker. I think Greg Roman is going to try to implement more passing, and I think that's why T. Martin and Keith Williams are here to actually design those plays, and then he can call them. Right, he'll try to implement more passing in that way, and look, you want more talent. Again, the system doesn't get better by not adding talent; it gets better with talent. So yeah, I think he'll work out here. And it's 1 year. I think he can get it together for 1 year, especially if there's a possibility of winning the Super Bowl. Super Bowl can hide a lot of things. Look, we had Anquan Bolden here.
Like he did in Tampa last year.
Like he did with Anquan Bolden. Anquan Bolden was used to getting 11, 12, 1,300 yards over in Arizona before he got to Baltimore. And he never hit 1,000 yards in Baltimore. But we won that Super Bowl. So he's like, you know what? I love it here. I think I'll stay. Yeah. Attitude Pop says, everyone is saying don't sign AB, I think he meant to say. But if Lamar say sign AB, you do it. Shannon said he said hell no, because he knows he's the opposite of being a Raven and he's a cancer to the locker room. And Stephen A said no. Yeah, I mean, look, those are guys that aren't in the locker room. They're not playing the game anymore. Stephen A never played the game. Stephen A is not even a football fan. Let's just be real about that, right? He doesn't really watch football. He covers just enough to make you think he watches it. He don't really follow that. But nobody understands the locker room more than the players that are there. And if they say, yeah, bring them, then bring them. And if you want to use Lamar as a scapegoat, because there's another thing I've been hearing out there. They took Lamar's advice when he said go get Hollywood Brown. When they asked him who did he want, he said Hollywood Brown. So that's why they drafted Hollywood Brown. So it's on Lamar. Well, he's also saying get me AB. If you're going to give up your GM privileges to the QB, don't do it half the time. Do it all the time, right? He's saying now get me AB. Go get AB. If that's the way you're gonna play it, or if you want to be the GM, you say, I know Hollywood is your boy, but we're gonna go ahead and get DK Metcalf.
Well, then, yeah, or own the fact that you made a terrible pick.
Yes, yeah.
Because look, he's not a terrible player. I'm not saying that, but that was a terrible pick.
Yeah.
There were at least now 5 other receivers in that draft who were better than Hollywood.
Yeah. Okay. Brandon Buck says AB and Juju. What money? Does KC have any cap? KC hasn't had any cap, but they get everybody.
Yeah.
How did they re-up Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and bring in Frank Clark? They just brought in Melvin Ingram, right?
He didn't cost anything, but yeah.
They gave Chris Jones a bunch of money. Like, how do they ever have any money for anything? Yeah. Tyrann Mathieu, like, they always have money, right? Like, because the cap isn't real. It's not a real thing. You can always manipulate it. The cap is only there to give owners an excuse to not spend money.
Yeah. And Brandon, you know how they'll sign him? By making sure 8 years from now they're $74 million over the cap. And then everybody can say, see, told you.
Yeah. All right. Nitro says, I want Lamar to have so many weapons you think he is the coffee-colored John Wick.
Listen, that's what they do for Pat Mahomes, right? Like, all of a sudden you pop up and Jerick McKinnon is there, and he's a major threat in the pass game out of the backfield.
Yeah.
They didn't have him before. They didn't need Jerick McKinnon, but they said, hey, he's available. He's cheap.
Yeah.
He can play. Yeah. Bring him in.
Sterling says, what's up, guys? What's up, Sterling? Thanks for coming through. We about to finish it up. A couple more, and we are out of here. Mr. Rose says, Antonio Brown is an American hero. Okay. Let's see here. Garnett says, Bruce Arians ran on the field and punched a player in the helmet. See how nobody's talking about that? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Exactly. So, Kingbird says, why is Greg Roman gone? Why isn't Greg Roman gone? Is Jim Harbaugh to be the offensive coordinator? Give it to Keith Williams. I think he's saying, is it going to be Jim Harbaugh that comes in the offensive coordinator? They should give it to Keith Williams. Man, I don't know, Kingbird. I mean,
Jim is talking about coming back as a head coach to the NFL, and I hope it happens because the rumor is Matt Rule might want to bolt out of Carolina if Michigan is open.
Yeah.
But we'll see. You know, there's still 7. There's now, I think, 7 openings because the Jacksonville Jaguars did hire Byron Leftwich, so congrats to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's still a lot to go on the coaching carousel there. So
right. All right, I'll finish with this comment and we are out of here. Cast Me G says signing AB or not is a side issue in terms of priorities. Rebuild the O-line and Lamar will do the rest, just like in his MVP season.
Y'all got beat in your first playoff game in his MVP season.
Yeah.
28-12.
But he's right. Build the O-line. That is the number one priority. Yeah. We can all agree on that.
No, it is. It is. But I'm just saying, it's not just the O-line.
Yeah. All right. Oh, we got a donation on our way out the door. It's from our man Shug. Shout out to you, Shug. He says, what it do, LBHT crew? Do not get AB a look. What happened? Do not get AB. Look what happens last time you took a Steelers player. See everyone tonight on the Overtime Show. Also, Christian Bale's. I'm not reading that, sir. I'm not reading that. Christian Bale's awesome. He doesn't like Christian Bale. He thinks Christian Bale's a terrible Batman. He really thinks he's a terrible person. He doesn't want to admit that. He just has a problem with Christian Bale. We're going to talk about it in the Overtime Show. And if you guys want to talk more Greg Roman, you want to talk more John Harbaugh, patreon.com/LBHT Show. Go ahead and sign up. We're going to start the show here in a couple of minutes. We'll be hanging out there for a while. Join us. Shug will be in there. Ferris will be in there. Okay. The founding members will be in there. And I hope to see you guys. But if not, thank you for hanging out with us. We gave you some more. You guys asked for more. We gave you more. This is only supposed to be an hour-long show. We've been running for almost 2 hours. So I hope you appreciate the content. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. Also follow us on our social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at LBHT Show. Also go over to our other channel, Ring Kings Podcast. Sign up over there. Give us a subscribe over there. We talk all things boxing with our man Mikey from Off the Record Podcast. All right. So this is it. Thank y'all for hanging out. B, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
B is ready. So we will see you guys next time. Peace out.